today, little drum roll, little happy time, everybody who is out there. If you could do me a small favor, drop a hashtag live down below. If you are here with us live, drop a hashtag replay if you catch this later on. That is for the algorithm so that all the beautiful people inside this group who said they want to hear from me and Rahul and listen to all the awesome shit we have to say can actually do that, because it's not all going to notifications anymore. So hashtag live if you're here with me right now, hashtag replay if you catch this later on. Guys, today we're going to be talking about something that I think is really important. Number one, because a lot of people have the wrong mindset around it. And number two, because it causes a lot of people to fail, not only for themselves, but for their clients when they're running paid traffic. Okay, so when you're running ads to anything, whether that be Facebook lead form ads, whether that be Google PPC, whether that's going to be TikTok, whether that's going to be YouTube ads, whatever kind of traffic it is, the paid traffic or otherwise, right? There's a huge difference between selling to that and selling to what a lot of you guys handle. So I'm going to talk for a while about this, and then I'm going to pass over to Mr. Rahul, who's joined us now, who's going to be, Mr. Sales Guy. He gets it. We've been selling to cold traffic. That's what ads are primarily, cold, top of funnel type traffic for a long time. Not only for ourselves, but also consulting our done-for-you clients on how to do that themselves, and really dealing with the differences in mindset that comes along with that. And I think the primary thing to really think about, right, to get this conversation started, and what are we talking about today? We're talking about selling to cold traffic, right? Selling to Facebook leads from paid ads, right? And so the primary difference here is, right, is where most people come in, and raise your hand or drop a 1 in the comments or in the chat if you've ever seen a post on Facebook from a quote unquote closer who says, my closing rate is 80-90%. I close 80% of every call that I get sent to me. Who's ever heard of that before? Drop a 1 in the comments or drop a 1 in the chat if you're here on the Zoom, if you've ever seen a post from a closer exclaiming how amazing they are of a closer by saying something like that. Normally, what that means is that they are receiving referral-based calls and they're only counting the ones who are already being offered to, right? If a true closer is saying something like that, they're just straight up lying, because a true closer should be really good at being able to do scalable activities, right? And the scalable activities we're talking about is paid traffic. Okay, and so what happens here first is that people start to believe that they're really good closers because they're closing what we call warm traffic. Right? This is going to be referrals, right? This is going to be people from your organic audience. This is going to be people from your Facebook group, your email list, all of this stuff. And it's fantastic to do this. Look, guys, we do stuff all the time on this. You can look around and see the VIPs on here, right? You see that we do master classes. Sometimes we give people really good deals in order to upgrade into the GSD from those, right? These are warm traffic people. These are people that have really, really gotten to know, like, and trust who we are and what we're all about before we make a pitch. And that's going to make life pretty easy as a closer, right? Now, do you still have to do some sales? Yes, probably. But when you're dealing with cold traffic, when you're dealing with ads, right? The difference here is that they don't have any idea who you are. And so warm traffic has already had some ability to get to know, like, and trust you before you make an offer, pitch, etc. Right? With cold traffic, you're usually talking to people who don't know you at all. So we're talking about strangers who have no clue who you actually are. And so where these people here can be told directly about, price points, they already know who you are, maybe even have a vaguer type of offer. These ones here are usually going to have to be either a couple steps closed or create something that's a very, very strong direct offer. Okay, and so the difference here really is in approach. With a warm audience, again, they already know, like, and trust you if you've done your job as in nurturing them, right? So what you need to do for selling to them is just figuring out, convincing them now is the time, plus the current solution is the next step, right? Now with cold traffic, and this is where we really dig into it today, in my opinion anyway, and what's worked really well for us is understanding that selling to cold traffic, you need to find their pain points, need to build some level of trust, and you need to lean in to the solution. So I always say, right, what sales comes down to at the end of the day is using discovery to find why the hell they're even on the call. Then creating a presentation that matches your solution to that problem in the clearest, most succinct way. And if you do that correctly, well enough, you'll be able to sell pretty much anybody that you talk to. Right now, the problem is with cold traffic, that becomes more difficult. That bridge becomes more difficult to build because it's not built on a foundation of trust. You guys who are on here, who have listened to me and who will talk every single week, and the VIPs who are on the master classes and get these coaching sessions and all this stuff, know that we're really, really good at stuff specific to what your needs are, because you've heard us talk about it a lot. So when I present an offer to you and you have the financial resources to want to do it, then you have the pain point to need to actually have that solution. And we say, here, we can make this happen for you. You have that trust. You have that belief. If it's cold traffic, though, it can't be something so simple. It's a direct offer, usually that gets their blood pumping. And then the conversation on the sales call is now about leveling up their certainty. Right. So you want to have, and I always subscribe to the Belfort straight line method for closing and that kind of stuff. I always liked the idea of that straight line path, right? And having presentational loops that build up certainty, especially for cold traffic. That means is you got to understand that maybe the offer and maybe some of the testimonial videos and stuff that you've sent them in between when they booked the call and when they had the call has helped level up one of the 3 10s that we talk about, which is you, your product, and your company. But now you have to use discovery to figure out where the gaps in that certainty are and use your presentation to kind of continuously loop that. Are they not ready to buy from you today, for instance, because they're going to be judging you against a few other people? Something that very frequently will happen with ads because they're clicking around on different offers. They're going to look at different solutions, and you might get off the phone call, have them saying, look, I got to talk to a couple other people. You guys sound great, but I got to do my due diligence. I got to go look at this guy, blah, blah, blah. Oftentimes a salesperson will just be like, cool, yeah, go ahead and do that. And that's the person who's not willing to get uncomfortable, right? And I always tell you guys, everybody that's been here for a while has heard me say the difference between a successful salesperson and a non-successful salesperson is what? The willingness to lean into that uncomfortable conversation, the willingness to lean into the uncomfortable place, to ask the uncomfortable questions, to not just take the first exit in the conversation that comes up. And this becomes extra important with cold traffic because they are going to oftentimes be coming at you with a partner objection. They're going to be coming at you with a compare you with other people objection.
You know what?
That person. And if you're doing your presentation loops properly, you lean into that uncomfortable place and you try to solve the solution without getting off the phone. Now, is there going to be times and scenarios in which you kind of have to get off the phone? You've done it all, you've beat it to death, and you got to let people do their due diligence? Sure. But your job as a closer, as a salesperson, especially with cold traffic where the relationship is not yet solidified, is to loop them and see if you can get through this. So what about, cool, we can talk next week, and I'm totally fine with that. You know, I obviously want to allow you to look at the options and all that stuff. I'm not trying to force you out of it, but if without those other options, like with those options aside, is there anything about what I said to you today that doesn't seem to solve your problem? Is there anything at all that you think is a barrier to us working together? And then they will inevitably, right, using that loop, they'll inevitably give you some information. And that's also where you just shut up, right? You just shut up and you let them talk. Normally what they'll say is, yeah, no, I mean, everything you say looks fine, but I was talking to this other guy and they just had a cheaper option. or everything you said sounded really, really good, but I was actually, I was really looking for that and this other thing. And I'm just trying to see if maybe one of these other people might have a full solution instead of not. Right? They will give you the information you need to now re-enter a presentation loop, tell a story about one of your clients where you did this thing for, tell them that you do offer that service, tell them about the lower priced entry point that you have that can get the relationship started, the rookie contract, right, that I've given you guys before, whatever that needs to do. But now you have the ammunition to be able to do that next conversational loop, that presentation loop, but with the information needed to handle the true objection behind the smokescreen of, I just want to look at my other options. When you get cold traffic, you're going to run into the most common objections: price point, partner. I got to look at these other people. I got to do my due diligence. I don't make decisions on one calls, right? All of these things are going to come up time and time again. And it's imperative 100% that you realize and recognize that most of the time these objections are smokescreens. And what they're saying to you out loud is not the reality behind the scenes. What I mean by that is, if I'm talking to you, it's a hell of a lot easier to say to you, I got to talk to my partner before I make a decision, than it is to say to you, I think your product is garbage and doesn't meet my needs at all. That's an uncomfortable thing to say. So if I think the reality is that I think your presentation sucked ass and your product's not going to fix my problem at all, or I don't think you're the person to be able to use that product to make it happen, most of the time, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say you didn't do a good enough job to convince me that you're the person to make this happen. What I am going to tell you is that I got to talk to my wife. I got to talk to my partner. I got to sign that client before I get to this point. I'm going to give you one of the 5 smokescreen objections that everybody runs into every single time. And if you're not seasoned enough to understand what that really is and how to go after the proper actual problems behind the scenes, then you'll leave that call feeling probably pretty good about yourself, thinking, okay, let's recap next week, not realizing that you've lost a sale. And the thing about cold traffic, the thing about Facebook ads is truly that those types of issues, those types of things that come up are amplified tenfold with cold traffic because they don't know, like, or trust you, because you have to build that relationship. So all of that being said, my number one thing really, and I'm going to hand this off to Rahul here in a second and get his opinion, because he's been doing this sales, like direct sales calls, even more than me, to cold traffic for a long time. But what I would say for sales calls that come from cold traffic is you need to have a warm-up sequence. You need to have, if you've got testimonials, pick your strongest ones. If you've got videos and training, send them to them. You need some sort of indoctrination sequence that gets them to know who you are and why they should think you're good at what you do. Teach them how to think differently about your company before they get on the call with the sales team. Super, super important that they get some of that stuff leveled up for them before they ever end up on the call itself. Second is really understanding how to do the loops, really understanding that this is going to be, these are normally going to be typically longer sales processes, either a couple of calls or a longer sales call. We have people that triage cold leads and calls before they get to the sales team, specifically because they're colder leads. But in the beginning, if you can't do that, it might just take a couple of different calls to make that happen. You can't lose contact with them. You can't let them go for too long of a time. Cold leads are notorious. If you let them think about it for a month, you'll find out in a month that somebody didn't do that and they're already bought into another agency or another program. So those are my main advice beyond the whole monologue that I gave already. Rahul, what's your opinion? What have you thought that you've really, really learned over all the years of us using cold traffic to sell to, and what differentiates it really?
I can echo Cody, but I'll go in a different route. So whenever we get cold traffic, number one, it depends on the context of how they're finding us. Is our goal to build our top of funnel where we give away value first to indoctrinate them into our process? So we're saying, hey, get this free thing, get this $7 thing like Diamond Club, like you guys are on, right? Now you guys get to know who we are, trust us, like us, etc. And when we ascend up into a more comprehensive situation for you guys. So we go our foot, like I'm a big foot in the door fan. I always have been my entire life. And I just look at the big boys, like even as simple as like a 7-Eleven. People go there for coffee, they end up buying donuts, they buy beer, they buy all kinds of groceries, and then they become like loyal customers. Amazon sell you $99 videos that you don't need to watch, and then you get free shipping and buy too much stuff on Amazon because it's too convenient. Now, if we put that same model into the cold traffic, I'm huge on low sales cycles, because Cody mentioned long sales cycles. Because if I said, hey, Brendan or Jen, nice to meet you, and I go through the sales process, I find your gaps, and then I go, boom, 15 grand to work with me. You're going to need to have some sort of like, well, I just had a conversation with you. I don't know you. I don't know your results. I'm not in your group. I don't know your content. You sound good on the phone, but I don't know. Right. So the authority is not there. But if like Tony Robbins said something and you're already familiar with him, whether you watched his stuff or not, he has a lot more brand awareness and authority. So you're maybe more indoctrinated to be able to buy a higher ticket from an authority. But even his model, think about his model. It's watch these videos for free, buy UPW for 500. They push you to the table to find out where you are in alignment of your life and your business. If you need help, like self-help, go to Date with Destiny. If you need business help, go to Business Mastery. If you want to hang out with me in Bali, go to the $1 Million a Year show, right? So when it comes to the cold stuff, I'm huge on how do I gain that trust and authority as quickly as humanly possible. I align a product that is so sexy that they cannot say fucking no. Like if they say no to me, they have to say no to goals, dreams, children, college, future. That's the emotion we got to bring out. And that's the most important part, because it's going to be really, really hard to go to cold traffic. A sales process, in my opinion, for cold traffic is lead comes in. You have your high level automations. If you don't have your automations set up properly, do hit us up. We got some cool shit on the automation side for lead generation. So number one is lead comes in, automation goes out. Two is it technically goes to a booking offer. Like they book, self-book, or they don't book, you call, then book. The ones that book are more serious. Those are the people, me personally, if I was in a situation where I had time and that was my currency that I was using, I would call every single lead before the appointment and do a pre-triage. I would get the context ahead of time so I can be prepared with my angle on the call. I can get a first touch point. On that first touch point, I now need to be able to demonstrate that I can help them. One of the best ways to be able to demonstrate how you can help somebody and have them also pay you is like anybody here shop at Costco ever? One in the chat if you have. Facebook land, one in the chat if you guys have too. You ever shop at Costco? Okay, only Jen and I. Do they not have Costco everywhere? The fuck? Only two of us, me and Jen. God damn, nobody likes Costco as much as I do. Fuck. One, there we go, Erica. All right, no Costco in Ireland. Oh, damn, you're missing out. There's probably a competitor of Costco. But one of the coolest things is what Cody talks about a lot in the past, and even everything we do, it's risk reversal. You don't like it, give it fucking back. Right? And that's one of the greatest things on earth, to be able to tell somebody, if you don't like it, take it back. So that's one of the best things that you can ever offer people is, I'm so good at what I do. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you do your part, I do my part. It's well defined in writing, and everybody has to be on alignment of you do you, I do me, and listed. And then it fails, then yes, there's a consequence. There's a consequence to the seller. That's the fastest, easiest way to ramp this thing up. But bulletproof the shit out of your fucking offer where you can't fail. Like Nick Saban has that statement. I don't know if he made it up or somebody else did, but I'm giving him the credit. Practice until you can't get it wrong. Get so good at one thing that you become the authority. Don't get good at, I can do weddings, I can do fucking restaurants, I can do everything. Get good at one fucking thing. And you can even niche the niche. Like Don and I talked on Savage Saturday. If you become like the contest guy for 3 or under locations for quick service restaurants or dive bars that can drive in 300 more leads with contests per month, fuck Facebook ads, even though that's what you could possibly be selling as Facebook ads. Your angle is the contest, right? So if you niche of the niche, then you're going to be an authority in that space, and then you can sell and penetrate more. So going back to what you guys already know about me, for those of you guys that heard me over and over, for the new people, this is what I did for a living. I sold those little square and rectangle banner ads for a living, and I could have sold it to anybody that ever bought them. It's the same shit. It's a commodity to me. I picked real estate agents. Not only did I pick real estate agents, I picked real estate agents that only advertised on realtor.com only, not even homes.com, not even Trulia, not any other criteria. They can go fuck themselves as far as I was concerned. One niche, and the product was graphic design. Graphic design is a lot of things. It's website interfaces, it's whatever, UX for softwares, it's logos, print stuff, billboards. I only did these digital banner ads. That was it. 3 different sizes to start. Not any other size, no mobile, no nothing. So it was not only the graphic design got niched down, the niche of who I was selling it to got niched down so deep that it was one website. Then we became known for that specific thing. Now, what that also helped and benefited by being an expert in one was people wanted other stuff from us. We were disciplined enough to say no. And then once we started transitioning away from real estate, we were also smart enough to know they want what we could do. And that's when we started going broader. And that's how you're going to make the best amount of money from cold traffic, when you can solve a very, very specific problem. You can nail it down to a science. So there's not 7 things you're solving for where it causes decision fatigue. Because like a lot of people are selling Go High Level as if they're the developers and want the clients to have every feature. The clients are losing, you're losing the client. They're going to fall asleep. You started off talking English, then you ended up speaking Chinese in their mind. And they don't speak Chinese, right? So that's kind of how, where I look at cold traffic is the more precise you are of how they come to you, the most value that you can get your foot in the door, and stay really, really precise on your niche. Stay in your lane. Because I've heard people come to me, ask me, DM me, I'm good at Facebook ads. This guy's asking SEO. What should I tell him? I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to tell you how to sell SEO? If you don't know how to do it, don't fucking sell it. Right? Right? Imagine if your barber said, let's do fucking foot surgery today. Right? That doesn't make much sense. But be that disciplined. Like Patrick, I just met him today. Dude's got a built-in market in the real estate. Very good at photography, very good at videography. Scale that and then supplement it with ancillary ascension model products. And that's the next step of why I think foot in the door is the greatest, especially when you have no authority, the cold traffic specifically. You can either be very, very patient and know your audience. Like if realtor.com was approaching me and saying, hey, we're considering you versus 5 other vendors, which actually happened, I'm not gonna downsell them. I understand there's a selling process. There's a 3 to 6 month sales cycle. There's 8 decision makers that I'm never gonna know that even exist. Right. So I didn't know that this is gonna be a long sales cycle. In fact, it took 3 years. So it was a little bit longer than I anticipated myself. But my point being is when you have a smaller market, when you're selling to these niche audiences, foot in the door and then ascend them up. Get them the quick result, because what you guys can sell, Go High Level is one great thing, graphic design is a great thing, contests a great thing, QR codes are great things, missed call text backs are great things. These are all things that will profit them on the top line immediately, because they're already losing money right now by not implementing that. So that's really kind of the most important effective part, is if you can get somebody to, like, if a lifetime value of a customer is $800, or let's say $1,000, and you can present like an HVAC guy, an electrician, I mean, heck, a hairstylist, right? Hairstylists charge a lot of money now. Like Anne-Marie charges like $2,000, $3,000 for extensions, right? The cost of that missed call is so significant, because if they miss it without a missed call text back, or miss the call, auto dial, manual call back, these automation technologies that everybody on this call, everybody now has no excuse not to implement, because it's so fucking common. It was common 10 years ago. Now it's just stupid how easy it is. Those are making people so much money. And those are easy cold traffic types of offers that you guys can literally take right here, right now. Go sell them to anybody and pick a niche, be an expert in the niche. The niche is important because it's repeatable. Because if I had to sell to restaurants, Don's going to do a way better job. But if I'm the idiot that takes it, I'm going to ruin the industry for restaurant marketers, because I'm going to take the restaurant guy on. If I go the next day and I got the dentist, then I'm going to be the idiot that takes the dentist on. It's all different problems. I don't know how the dentist their issues. I don't know how they wake up in the morning. I don't know how their turnover is. I don't know how restaurants are because I'm not an expert in it. When I can understand and live and breathe and know more about my industry and know more about the pains, the problems, the solutions, how they wake up, what stresses them out, etc., I can now be a way more powerful salesperson. I can be way more powerful with my offers, with my angles. And I build my authority, get some trust by getting a quick transaction. And then through that transaction, I'm going to have conversations as their consultant, regardless of price, to develop that trust, develop that authority, give them great recommendations, show them the gap of doing nothing. If we did it a year ago, we'd be this far ahead. If we do it a year from now, we'll be this far behind. So I can create gaps very, very easily from emotion, from money, from vacations, from the overspending they did on last month's budget, whatever, by just demonstrating through the foot in the door, the hot dog offer. Does that make sense for everybody? Was that clear? But it's a repetition thing. It's a repetition thing. I swear it's not easy. It's really fucking hard work. And sometimes the signs give it to you. With me, it was somewhat by luck. With the banner ad thing, my first offer was virtual assisting. Can anybody, like, I virtual assisted real estate agents, which I don't recommend, by the way. So can anybody guess the price that I charged per month to be a virtual assistant? So when a real estate agent got a listing, I would take their photos, I would write their description from it, and I'd optimize it on their website so it looks dope, and then also on their Realtor.com account. Those are the only two things I did. 1,000 a month, 500, 299.7. Are these one, like, I'll just assume these are monthly prices. Okay. Anybody else got a guess? All right, not enough. Yeah, I charged $50 a month. So bad, right? That's how we start, right? We just undercharge. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. And then I was like, dude, this sucks. $50. I can't, like, what am I gonna do with that? I can't even move out of my mom's house. So then we started charging $600 a year. We're like, we'll give you 2 months off pay in advance. And then we're like, dude, this sucks because we couldn't, because people actually use the service. They're like, fuck, they kept calling us. So like, damn, we didn't know that was gonna be the case. They wanted to talk to us too. So we immediately pivoted. One call, one luck, one stroke of genius came. A friend said, hey, my client at Realtor.com needs a banner ad. Told him you're really good at it. Charge him $500. I want 100. That's really what the conversation was. And I'm like, boom, done, easy peasy. He must have pre-sold it for me. Did it, lady loved it. Then all of a sudden the business actually got born there. So that's simple. So sometimes it's the signs on the wall. And I want to give you guys the sign. We all have fucking high level. That's one of the easiest routes in the world to supplement what you're doing, to give the candy what people want. Right? This is you're literally impacting top line revenue immediately as soon as you implement one of those 3 features. If you do all 3, you're brilliant. And then you can always feature up later. So the features are database reactivations, take your existing lead list and then go blast it out, instantly make real-time revenue for that company. Number 2 is going to be missed call text backs. Don't allow your competition to take your business by missing fucking calls and not having the technology to start the 2-way conversation immediately. Number 3, let the court of public opinion prevail. Get them online reviews. People believe that. When everything that you guys buy on Amazon, you're influenced by the quantity of reviews, because I guarantee everyone here has found the product they want and they see similar products and you're like, oh shit, this one has 12,000, that one's 19,000. I'm just going to go with that one because the 19. That's it, right? You don't know who they are. And that's how human behavior works, that's why reviews are so big. That's why Podium and Yelp and all these things are so big. Now you can supplement that and just take an individual feature. Like you guys have heard me on, I did one live sales call. I have another sales call that I recorded that I'll probably share at some point once it gets edited and chopped out, where you can take the social planner. Hey, how are you guys getting all, like, with all the social media platforms and like you wanting to do content? How do you think you're gonna have the time to be able to put it all over all these platforms when more keep coming out? I mean, on the one hand, if you don't do it, then you miss the party and you miss the money. On the other hand, you don't have the time to do it because it's like so much work. Let me show you how the social planner works. So you can join the party, do it at ease. Sunday night football, throw this shit on there. You're done for the month. Very easy. And guess what? Your ascension model, can somebody give me an ascension model? If I sold, Jen, if I sold you the social planner and you wanted to get your content out on multiple platforms and your let's say, I don't care what industry, a lender, a mortgage lender. Now that you have the platform, how am I going to get you to put the content on there? Right. So now what would be my ascension if I say, hey, here's the baddest tool on the planet. You put the stuff in this tool. Now there's 7 different websites you can copy and paste the same shit to, and now you have distribution everywhere. What would be my ascension model if they just have the social planner and go high level?
Well, you can offer anything else that's in there, or you could offer the service to have someone do it for them.
Content. Yeah, exactly. Content creation, reel creation. Look at their YouTube channel. See if they have video. Like, oh my God, this is a cool video. Why aren't you putting it in shorts? People's attention span are lower and lower. Ants have more attention span now than humans. It's crazy, right? Right. So why are we missing this? So like, here's what I'd like to recommend. Let's try it on a pilot basis. I don't want to blow the budget. I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want to do something that's right for you, right for the business, right for your authority, and make life a lot easier and position you in a chance to win more deals. What if we just charge $1,000 a month, pilot it for 4 months? We'll do 5 to 7 chop ups. The best part is there's 2 ways I'm going to do this for you. One, I'm going to take the dopest spots where you don't even have to tell me the timestamps. We're going to do all that work. And then we're just going to hand deliver you 7 at a time. So you don't have to give me feedback on 1, feedback on 2 a week later, 3, 4, 5, and then we all wasted all this fucking time. We're just going to send you all at once. You're going to either say, I love them all because you guys are brilliant, or you're going to say, hey, I have these 2 edits on video 3 and 7. And that's it. That's how good it's going to be. $1,000 a month. Let's pilot it out. Easy sale, right? Because we've already demonstrated authority by solving a big problem for them. Now we have a second ascension problem to solve: content creation. It's thinking in the next logical step. Now, the opposite can hold true too. They say no to the ascension model, right? Totally fine. Now we nurture that. Now we monitor that. Now they're in our pipeline. Now they're aware. They're aware we have these other capabilities if that is within your skill set. It doesn't mean go find a fucking video guy and do what I just said. It just means if that's an example of pulling out one feature and then ascending them through that feature.
Yeah, you could easily just ask if they want you, to show them about your forms so you can get the leads through the socials. That could be one way to just kind of ease them in a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got to be so methodically laid out based on who you target, what your core offer is, what your foot in the door offer is, and what your upsell is. It has to be very well planned out. You have to know your offer better than the customer, and you can't sound like you're making shit up. Right. So we just have to be very, very critical. And some of the things are like, if somebody's good at video and photography, sell more of that. You don't have to go and say, I need to find another product, because if I can do whatever, a package of 10 edited photos for you, what if I did a package of 32? The reason it's 32 is because I like Magic Johnson, but also number 2 real reason is we're going to keep them scrolling on that property more than any other property. We can show them different angles, different hooks of the home. We can show them whatever, the top, the bottom, from the bottom up angle. We can envision them living in that home with more photography, more videos, like listings with multiple photos. I forgot the stat, so I'll make one up, but this is not true. So whoever's listening, it's fake. Listings with multiple photos sell 67% faster than listings with less photos. There is a stat like that somewhere, but I just literally made that up. But if you go on the NAR website, you can probably find those stats. But that's how you kind of get the buyer to kind of perceive the value by saying, hey, if I'm going to charge you $300 for this package, what if we packaged it up at $700? Would it be worth it to basically have a shorter selling cycle? We can attract more people. We can get people when they click this listing, you have, not only do you get to have the photos for your personal website, you can put it on your social media and you can create a carousel. And that social media, you could have 5, 7 channels. So you can use it on those 5, 7 channels. But then when you put it on realtor.com, you can put it on homes.com, you can put it on Trulia.com, you can put it on Craigslist, you can send it to your broker, you can email it to everybody, you can make a landing page with it. So these photos have multiple uses across these 17 or 18 different ways to use it to promote that home. So now even though it may seem obvious, I just need some photos. But if we explain that there's 18 different platforms that are going to create this usage, that's going to create the tentacles to accelerate that sales process with my higher package. The lower one's fantastic. The higher one will get sticky rate. So if I can get somebody to go and click on my home on Realtor.com, Trillia, Zillow, my website, and they have to go through 32, what's that happening? That algorithm that they have is going to show my property more. 2, they're spending more time on my property. The more time they spend on my property, the more likely they could potentially be ready to click that contact agent button. Right? So we created a little bit of contrast by explaining things. Like when I sold banner ads, not only can you use the banner ad for the platform that you actually want to use it for, but what if we thought differently? What if we put it on like a press release where the banner was across the top and you wrote the press release below and published that? What if you sent letters with it, put it on your email signature, your website, everywhere, your back of your business card? You have multiple uses for this sucker. So now I'm just taking this $150 thing or $500 thing and making it worth, hopefully in their mind, $2,000, $3,000, but it's still the same price. And you have the license rights to use it everywhere. So I'm just creating a little bit more contrast and more value for them. So when they make that emotional decision, the logic is, well, it makes no sense not to do it because I wasn't even thinking I can even use this on 18 platforms. And now it became a little bit more of a no-brainer. All right, any takeaways? Was that like 5 in the chat if that was helpful? Because I definitely can talk about this all day, every day. Because this is like one of my favorite things in the world is helping get people really fucking clear that we have a really long game. I'd rather have people close something small off cold traffic to get the relationship started so you have the opportunity to send versus have a really long sales cycle, which has a high likelihood to go into a funeral home with a nail in the coffin where the lead dies because we're getting too aggressive and unless you know sales really well. You have to understand your sales cycles. Our cold traffic does not rarely ever one call closes. Rarely. Okay, cool. All right, let's go into still learning about GHL, but I think I'm getting it. Yeah, I mean, Brendan, like watch some of the Savage Saturday stuff, like in the group, like the date stamp is on there. We're literally going to be talking about the 3 main offers that, like, if you're just starting, I'd just like to tell people, like, I don't know international country codes and how Twilio works in different places, but if it's United States and Canada, I can talk about that for a sec. But missed call text backs, database reactivations, and online reviews. If you listen to some of the videos, how I've pitched it, how I've presented it, how I've demoed it, and you rehearse that and rehearse it once or twice and then go fuck it up and get it in real life, go have the conversations, you'll screw it up. That's totally fine. That's natural at first. And then you'll only get better with more repetition, right? Because my silly analogy is, what if Michael Jordan shot the basketball once, missed it, and said, this sport doesn't work, right? It just takes rep, miss shot, high volume up front, high quality on the back. Once you get your footing, your confidence, and you get okay getting your teeth kicked in, then that's a normal day, fucking great day. Then you just create more neutrality when you're immune to the no's. And I don't mean you have to get a certain amount of no's to get a yes. That's not what I'm saying, is that it just creates toughness because we're entrepreneurs. We're fucking stupid, crazy, and wild to start a business. And we still do it every day.
As well as I got a voicemail to say.
Okay, cool. You got the AI stuff. Yeah. AI state, like, first get the high level stuff up because that's easily implementable. It takes very little skill to be able to A, sell it and position it, and B, fulfill it. That's why I like this. It literally takes very little skill. Sell it and don't know how to do it, then ask us how to do it and we'll help you. You know what I mean? So sell before you're ready. Who cares about the implementation? Just tell them it'll take 2 weeks and then come to us. We'll show you how to set it up and then it's repeatable. It's fucking easy. And then the AI stuff will be layer number 2. This is just immediate impact revenue for your family, for yourself, for the people that you serve. Database activation training. Yeah, go through that one. Yep, that one's good. Yeah, sell it first, then build it. Yep, sell before you're ready. Best model on the planet. I mean, it sold like a couple 100,000 banner ads, still have no idea what the fuck Photoshop looks like. Because I don't give a shit. I just knew we can be very good at it, and you find the talent later. It's just outsourcing. It's so much easier. And by the way, simplifying what you do makes outsourcing a breeze. It makes outsourcing so linear instead of choppy fucking waters. Because if you're selling one thing really, really well and your team has to do this one thing over and over and over again, what are they going to do? Repetition is going to create success. But if you have SEO, then you have this, and you have that, and this, the other, then it's a fucking headache. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to know how to QA it. And if you deliver a broken product to a client, you lost face. Not only did you lose the original sale, now you're in an argument. Now you have to do double the work. Now they're going to beat you up over doing free shit. And then you lost the ability to upsell and you lost control of authority, where now you're just a very low waged contractor, but they're going to treat you like an employee. That's why it's just so important to just be really good at one thing. It just makes it so much easier. Cold call mortgage brokers on LinkedIn. How soon would you go for the sale in the conversation? If I wouldn't have the conversation necessarily on just LinkedIn. I'm sorry, like through DM to sell it. I would want to first get in the early stages as many conversations as I possibly can get, because then I'm going to understand the marketplace, the pains, how they talk, etc., what their excuses are they polite, are they professional, are they in a loud place, etc. So I'll kind of understand the nuances of the industry a bit. But my number one thing would be like, hey, I see that you're in the mortgage space. I've worked in that space as well. I love to network with people. Would you be down for having a network call so we can see how we can help each other? And then the next step is, it's the reason I go that route is I've done that and it works. And did I automate it? The answer is no at first, because I didn't know how to. And then Cody helped set up whatever we set up. I forgot, it was Linked Helper or some shit. And then we just automated it. And then we just had a VA make sure that they knew what to respond with to just get our calendar link over to them. And that was it. We just turned the thing on, made it very, very chill. We didn't really go with, hey, can you handle 10 more new listings this year? Blah, blah, blah stuff. Like, I like that angle. I really do when it comes to cold emailing and stuff, with the right context. But this is more social. This is more like, how rare is it to want to talk to a human today, right? I mean, it's no longer like I'm trying to put the networking back in the social, right? Everybody's trying to, it's like cell networking right now. Right. So if we can get the social and the networking together, where we're on a platform where it's community, it's fun, we're supposed to interact, we're supposed to network. That's what the backbone of what it was built for, was networking. Let's use that to our advantage, create conversations and create long-term relationships. It's never wasting time when you have an opportunity. And you never know where anything is going to lead. There's so many opportunities where it's like, I've met people that will never buy my shit, not because they didn't need it or liked me or whatever. It's because it wasn't a good fit. But then they've also referred me because we had an intelligent, mature conversation that led to future business. And that's the important part, because there's two ways to of the audiences I kind of look at, is my direct audience, and then who can get me in front of the direct audience. Oftentimes the person who can get you in front of the direct audience is more powerful than, and you're going to be a really good sales engine for a lot of people that network really, really well, than going direct after clients. Because that was my favorite way, is I'd rather close a marketing agency that onboards like 5 to 7 clients a month. They do all the fucking hard work. They do all the schmoozing, all the drinks, all the BNIs, all the bullshit. I don't give a fuck what they do. They're now my free sales engine, because now I'm their back end office. You go sell, I do. When things go well, you're the hero. When things go bad, I'm the villain. That's a great relationship. I just had free Salesforce. So those are the two types of audiences I like the most, is people get you in front of who you can get in front of your target audience, and the direct target audience. You have to have about, like, if you're going to go the who can get you in front of people route, balance it with the direct as well, because that takes a little bit of a sales cycle. And you have to be able to pinpoint gaps and problems. And then the direct sales kind of keeps your revenue afloat while you're building the monster behemoth of a business you want to build, whatever that size may be. Cool. All right, let's go with a little Q&A. Cody, do we want to keep this thing just streaming this time, or do we want to, I don't know if Cody's still there. or cut it, but I'm until he comes back, I'm just going to keep it streaming in the free Facebook group. And you guys out there in Facebook land, you're going to see a little bit of Q&A before we do cut it, I think. And so, because Cody's the host. But if you want to be on here, I know I came on 2 or 3 minutes late. Cody probably mentioned it. The Diamond Club is fucking awesome. Can you guys unmute and tell people, do my presentation of why they should join? What's your favorite part of Diamond Club? Just like, I'll start with Robert, Don, Jen, Erica, and then whoever else wants to come on and say something.
I think my favorite part, man, is that that all the information that you offer is very practical. You keep it simple and you keep it relevant to what's going on in today's time, because I know what happens is sometimes people end up giving outdated information in terms of what they used to do 20, 30 years ago. Since you guys are so active in the business right now, you're seeing everything in real time. So if I want to have a coach, if I want to have somebody that's going to help me with my business, I want to have people that are actually in the game, right? So that's the cool thing with you and Cody, is that you guys are very simple, practical, and not and when I say simple, meaning that you make it easy for us to understand. But you guys are like big time in terms of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, but you can always break it down into small pieces. And that's what I love the most about Diamond Club and VIP, and even in Premier Coaching. That's my thought.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Don, you're up.
Man, I like it because you guys are there for us. I mean, I'm just in the Diamond Club, but if I have a question or if I'm having a problem with lack of skill set, you're there, and you bring out some really great ideas to say, give us a shot and see how it works out. And usually you're right.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, like, I mean, the one thing I want everybody to do is anything that you guys do learn, share it in the Facebook group. That's one thing, helps the algorithm, helps other people. But also execution is going to be on the backbone of this knowledge. Because like giving ideas, which is what we get paid for, is the idea. And then it's the game plan of the execution. And then if you have a blueprint, you have a game plan, you got to execute with obsession like fucking crazy. It has to be possessed, no distraction, hardcore, hard work. I mean, work 24/7 if you can, work 4 hours if you want to. It doesn't matter. It's just the work is the work, right? I'm a big fan of, I think everybody should work 24/7, sacrifice fucking everything when they first start. Well, that's just me. I like doing that. I didn't have a family, no kids, no nothing. I just had no rent. I lived in mom and dad's house and I didn't want to see them. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna plant in this office, make some money as quickly as fucking humanly possible. And then when I turned 35, 40-ish, then I'm like, work, I don't need to work. I do it because I want it, So I want everybody to have those options. So everybody's hustle economy is going to be different to them, and just do you. My choice is work a lot, but with very, very money-making activity focus. And then whereas other people have families and other obligations and personal situations, use your attention and use your time very, very wisely when you do work. Sorry, Miss Jen.
Yeah, I love, well, you guys are like true goats. So we know that we're getting the best of the best training, and having upgraded to Inner Circle, I can say that you guys give all of us, everybody in Diamond Club, the same kind of attention you give your Inner Circle people. They just get less of it because they're not in the Inner Circle to have those calls. So I like also very much how the example you guys set when working with the VIP group, that you guys are listening to us and our needs, and you adapt what you're teaching accordingly. You're staying very, very in tune with where the needs are and what is going to benefit the members. And I think that's really, really cool. Also, you have really helped me. When I came in, when I started doing what I was doing, I knew how I wanted to help businesses, but I didn't know enough about this industry to know that what I was doing was creating an agency. I had zero clue about that. So I didn't know the terminology or anything. I came in like complete marketing, like digital marketing virgin, and was totally impressed with all the things that we could do with the system, not realizing that I was overwhelmed myself. I was just going to bring that to other people, and you have helped just even here, but then of course more in the Inner Circle because we get more in depth. But in Diamond Club alone, I was getting so much feedback on how I needed to simplify things. I love that so much, and it's helped me in my business like tremendously.
Awesome. I
Muted.
appreciate that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, since I can't control the stream right now, let's go into Q&A. All right, let's go over some questions. All right, Cody's there. I'm here. I'll end it. All right, you can hit the record. All right, Facebook land. You've heard it from the people. Go ahead and get the link. It's been everywhere. The Diamond Club. Someone will drop it in our group and slide up in your DMs, whatever engages in there. All right, so invest the $7, put down the Starbucks for a day, and you'll be fine.